Welcome back, my friends, to match 2 of our doubleheader here in the console Overwatch multi-tier tournament. Our second match tonight is going to be a Tier 3 matchup between 2 4-1 teams as OFA Branwen takes on Guardian Solo Ult. But before we talk about those teams, Hamwelll, I got an important question for you, my friend. Burning question. It's been just digging at me, and I got to ask. How do you catch a unique animal?
I don't know. How?
Unique up on it. How do you catch a tame animal?
I don't want to know how.
The tame way. Unique up on it. All right. All right. All right.
Oh my God.
That double joke coming at you courtesy of Daniel Orford. As the moan and groans ensue.
Daniel, why do you give him this? why you do this?
We do have an absolute killer matchup for you tonight. Like I was saying, both these teams 4-1, looking to make a push here in the last 3 weeks. I guess technically 4 weeks of our multi-tier tournament. See who can make that push into the postseason. Of course, you are affiliated with the Guardians organization. Can you give us some insight into this Tier 3 team here, Hamwelll?
Well, I can tell you a little bit, without going into too much detail. This team was put together pretty last minute, actually. Honestly, it came together very much right at the start of CGL, and so it took a little bit of time to find the rhythm. But once everyone got accustomed to each other, the level of play is really taken off. And I mean, both these teams are kind of in a good situation as far as their record. There's only one map separating them in differentials. So, I mean, if there was a time to really be hitting on all cylinders for the Guardians, it'd be right now, because this is going to be a very tough matchup.
Yes, sir. Today's 4-map set will start off on Ilios. We will then be heading to Blizzard World for your hybrid map. Volskaya Industries is our assault map. And Dorado, your escort, to round out the 4-map set. And just a reminder of your hero pools here in Week 6. You will not see any Orisa, nor will you see Echo, Tracer, or Moira in the support lineup.
I feel like that Orisa ban is it's very crucial, especially here on Ilios. I mean, you've got a lot of points where Ryan seemingly doesn't have as much value as an Orisa would. So I mean, you get a lot of interesting comps I've found so far this week here on Ilios. Which, that's always cool to see. I like to see how people answer these hero bans. And I've seen some cool stuff so far.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. We've seen a lot of, obviously Reinhardt coming back in, widely considered the strongest main tank in the game right now. So no surprise that people are kind of sticking with these brawly compositions. And we are going to get Guardians starting us off in the red jerseys, bringing out the Reinhardt Diva with McCree and Sim. And on the side of Branwen, they are bringing us the Reinhardt Zarya with Ashe, and then Pharah taken to the skies.
Yeah, I think this the Rein Zarya versus the Rein Diva matchup, I think it's something we'll be seeing a lot of specifically today, but overall, that seems to be what a lot of people go to. It's one or the other, so it'll be interesting to see which comp wins out.
But it's going to be Guardians getting a first possession of the point, at least positional advantage, as they use that Symmetra to teleport across the gap, see if they can get their feet planted, find that defensive posturing. We're going to have Eaton putting down a lot of damage in through the windows. The Diva trying to come out and challenge, but goes down. Hairball falls as well. The Pilot Diva quickly removed. Eaton finding 2 important picks right out of the gate, and despite some early percentage for Guardians, it's actually going to be Branwen taking control at this point.
Yeah, that was actually very surprising. I mean, the Sim strat did exactly what it needed to do. Guardians get there to the point first, but just fortitude coming out from Branwen, and they're able to muscle that point away.
Now we are going to get the swap from Hairball, going over to the Sniper, Widowmaker, looking for that early pick potential, since the Sim strat not quite yielding the results they wanted out of the gate.
That is going to put him very low behind the ult advantage, but he'll make up for it there.
Woo, with a nice headshot on to Eaton. Pharah dismantled. Now hardline charging in, able to find 2 picks. In fact, both healers, but an early Earthshatter coming out from the other side, trying to equal back as Michael coming up with a pair of kills of his own. Both teams are swinging hard, but it is going to be hardline chart winning the Reinhardt duel, and Guardians flipping this thing right back over.
Yeah, that was a very close fight. Basically, a war of attrition between these two teams, and ultimately, Guardians, despite a strong effort from Branwen, they just come out with a few more numbers on top, and really, that's all you need to turn this point around. Now you've got, good point presence. This double hit scan is really going to make this far a tough sell for Branwen. But I mean, you've got that barrage online, so you at least need to hold through for that.
Yeah, Eaton sitting back, putting down a lot of damage. In fact, finds a good kill with a good direct onto the Ana. Doing a good job of avoiding the sight line of Hairball here so far. Barrage online and ready to go. Oh, a typical space does eventually pick him out of the sky. Hairball looking for the follow-up kill onto the Mercy. Meanwhile, kills traded out on the objective. But it does look like Guardians will maintain controls. We're getting a bit of a soft reset coming out of Branwen here.
That was a questionable at best, I could say. A questionable at best Bob coming out from Grimmy there. Just not a lot of value. Just kind of stood there.
We're getting a late Valk thrown in from Aphrodite as well. And now Guardians pursuing this, looking to get aggressive and chase Branwen all the way back. Looks like they've got a couple ultimates online, and Hairball comes in with a nice shot, take the Mercy out of the sky early, and that's the kind of early pick you want here if you're Guardians.
I mean, that is very unfortunate for Branwen right now. I mean, 80% of progress already on the point and having to wait for your Mercy, who's a very prime part. Oh!
Wow, what a headshot. Eaton just poked over the top, and then Hairball dotted him right between the eyes. Now we're getting a little bit of a duel here as the Grimmy on the Ash trying to battle Hairball, but he does drop those infra sights. It's going to give him the advantage there. Typical space, throwing the Deadeye onto the point. Branwen able to avoid the LOS on that, but they can't touch, and that's going to mean Guardians with an early 1-0 lead here on Helios.
You really, to me, I mean, you've got to credit that kind of dominating performance to Hairball, honestly, on the Widowmaker. I mean, the pharmacy provided a ton of value on that first fight for Branwen. But, I mean, the minute the symmetric strat doesn't work, you see Hairball switching over to the Widow, and, I mean, the value was instant. I mean, huge picks. The pharmacy was non-existent after that point, and, I mean, the point progress kind of reflected that.
Yeah, you can't help but wonder if perhaps they should have just swapped off as soon as that first snipe happened. Perhaps got something a little more brawly, especially since they were utilizing the Zarya in the ground war.
Yeah, it's tempting when you're that close to a barrage with Pharah. It's tempting to try and stick it out, but I mean, do the ends justify the means? And in this case, they really didn't.
Well, now
interesting to see this dive coming out from Guardians.
Yeah, especially with the double pick comp in the DPS role. We'll see if everything can come together here for him and find those kills, as they are running into a Reinhardt Sigma on the other side. Grimy on the McCree here, but it is going to be Hairball finding first kill. A lot of pressure onto the Reinhardt, and Hairball able to find the dome. Live able to get a pick as well. And it's going to be first control percentage started off here for us by Guardians.
Yeah, that was just a very well-executed fight. See, the cool thing about running dive with the double hit scan comp is that if played correctly, you can really set up a lot of space between their team, because especially noticing what they're playing with the double shield of Ryan Sigma, you can create a front line that's way in front of those hit scans and really give them all the space they need to find those picks, and that's exactly what happened there. Hairball had enough time to whittle down and ultimately kill the Reinhardt, and that pretty much signaled the end of that.
Well, now Grab going over to the Genji, gets deleted immediately. First victim here in our second engagement. Bob coming out, but he's just going to have himself a little nap. The Butler not having much impact. Meanwhile, the front line, a big charge coming through, but typical space, able to counter back, finds the Baptiste, finds the Sigma, and now Michael.
They got this Ryan cornered.
Yeah, just stuck in a really awkward position here on Coast. Typical space does finally give him the Mercy kill.
Oh my goodness, he used ultimate there.
No way! Oh, I didn't even catch that.
He tried to shatter there. I heard the sound cue and I thought, no. So ult usage so far for Branwen, definitely a source of concern, I would say. Grimmy has switched off the Ashe onto the Reaper. It's a little bit harder to miss a Reaper ult, I've found. But, just need to be a little bit more patient with those ults, a little more calculated. That's ultimately going to win. And you look now, the ult advantage firmly in the hands of Guardians.
Yes, sir. They're going to go ahead and use both the Infrasights and the Ant Matrix. Primal Rage thrown into the mix as well, as Hardline is just back there punching the Ana to his heart's content, but Immortality Field was there, didn't quite find the kill, but Hairball able to finish that one off. Bob coming through, and this time the Butler having a much larger impact, finds 2 kills. Hairball, or Typical Space, excuse me, follows it up with a kill on to Grimmy. And with the overtime Wicca burning, this 99-0 very convincing attack on Ilios will yield Guardians a 1-0 lead.
It was very surprising how quickly that turned for the side of Guardians. They I mean, they really were in control. Once they took the point back after losing with the Forest Trap, which they executed the Forest Trap perfectly. Just some nice plays coming out from Branwen there. But ultimately, once the switches were made, it was firmly in the hands of Guardians, and I think ult usage has a big factor to play in that. If you're not getting value with those ults, then there's really no point in having them, and so that's very unfortunate.
Yes, sir. Hardline and Typical Space making it oh so difficult there for them to have any room to work. That was just fantastic shooting there coming out of the DPS duo, or Hairball and Typical Space, excuse me. Just fantastic shooting, especially Hairball on that sniper.
Well, they were both playing hit scan. It's pretty easy to get them confused.
Yeah, fair enough.
And they're both doing really well with it.
Well, after a lightning fast Ilios, Guardians up 1-0. We will be heading to Blizzard World here for map number 2. It'll be your hybrid map here this evening. What do we think we need to see? What kind of changes can Branwen make here if they want to tie up this series?
I really have to accredit a lot of it to nerves. I feel like, I mean, this team's 4-1. They've got a pretty strong map differential. They've obviously been having at least some success this season so far in the Tier 3 tournament. So, to see a surprising sort of mismatch like that, I really just think maybe a little bit of nerves. Some teams, the knowledge of being casted can make a difference. Being on the air, it being shown to the world. And so I think maybe just take a deep breath, wipe off some of those jitters and possibly go again. Yeah,
bounce back, stick to your game plan, come in with what you know.
We do have some subs coming in. I will be working those in. Let's see, we've got Z0C coming in for Squanch, and then we've got Blunts coming in for Apex. So let me make those switches right quick. Boom, boom.
So that's going to be in the tank and support roles, respectively, there for Branwen.
It is. Blunt's coming in on the support. Maybe I should call him Wheezy. Let's say that. Z0C coming in on the tank. Wonder if this possibly will be a switch of my kill over to off tank, off of the main tank. Is this just another off tank switch? It'll be interesting to see. As you recall, on our Thursday match, there was a switch to the off tank, and that made a lot of difference for a team by the name of Bayhu.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bayhu. Yes, I'll get it. I will get it right one day.
And that one went to map 5. We saw our first series tonight go to map 5, and I mean, if you look at the tape, it looks like this one could be equally close, though with the first showing there on Ilios, Guardians absolutely dominant so far here in this series.
Well, you got to be careful of that, because we saw with Bayhu versus Prothros. I mean, Prothros really solidly in hand the first 2 maps, and Bayhu came back and made it a fight. They do ultimately drop the map 5, losing 3-2. But I mean, it was surprising how quickly the momentum changed in that match. So, I mean, you can never rule any of that out. We're seeing a lot of map 5s so far this CGL season. So, I mean, I think that just shows that the level of play and the level of knowledge that each of these teams have against each other is really just providing some really great Overwatch.
And it was the exact same story in our Tier 2 matchup we saw here previously, where, it was started off really strong, a 2-0 lead. And then the other team bounces back and gets 2 maps and takes it to a map 5. You can't rest on your laurels. You go up 2-0. It does not mean that you've got that thing in the bag. Keep up the fight.
Oh yes, you have to close it out. I mean, that's that's really, I think, going to be a deciding factor come playoff time, determining a lot of these seedings is, which teams closed out the map, which teams secured the 4-0, which teams secured the 3-1s. I mean, those map points can really play a factor. And two, I mean, it can be the difference between a win and a loss, allowing a reverse sweep to happen. I mean, that is I've been there. It happened to me. I believe it was Danny DeFito's community tournament. We made it to finals, went up 2-0, got reverse swept. That, pardon my French, but that shit hurt. Like it's not a fun feeling. So, you never want to be in that situation. And that, again, like you said, so aptly put, I mean, you cannot rest on your laurels. But to the match at hand, it looks like we will be having Branwen on the defense first, Zenichi coming in on the Sigma. Looks like Wheezy coming in, taking the Lucio role. Running that May Ash again. Surprised to see the Ash, but honestly, you do need the range.
On the other side of things, Ryan Zarya coming out of Guardians here as they take to the attack. Gates are open. Map 2 has begun. We'll get fickle space on that McCree. Looking to utilize our favorite cowboy here. Hairball going over to the May. Oh, and especially if they can get planted here early like they're threatening to, that May could be so dangerous. As the fight breaking out in close quarters, going shield to shield. Here comes the May wall to split off the group, and they don't fight. They don't quite find anybody on their side of the tracks. Nice sleep dart coming through on a Hairball, and he's going to drop, but Grimmy and Kichi fall on the other side. The equalizer coming through from MyQuill, and it's a 4-4 here on the objective. Reinhardt's going shield to shield. We got Earthshatter coming out, but that found nothing. The nano boost onto the Reinhardt from the other side, and I don't believe it. Branwen just doesn't step on the point. They don't contest it, and then there's a super late Earthshatter with nobody there to follow up. MyQuill wants that one back.
That's unlucky. He smelled the blood in the water. He really wanted to finish off those kills, send everybody back to spawn, but ultimately, yeah, I'd have to say that was a waste. The fight was already lost. You're going to have to reset. Even if you get those picks, what good does it do? I mean, their spawn's right there. The points barely started rolling, but props to Guardians running this Lucio Brig comp. They did exactly what they needed to do. They used May walls to maneuver to point very quickly, and then from there, let the support's AoE healing effect take over.
We're going to get Bob coming out early on the side of the defense. Sound Barrier coming out on the side of the offense. Hairball finding first kill. Landing shots to dome. And no more Sigma standing here on the side of the defense. And with that, Guardians getting a very aggressive, making good use of their Brig Reinhardt combination here. Claiming tons of space. As Uvial picks himself up a pair of kills there on the back end. Holy cow, he is just getting super aggressive and finding success with it. What could have been a giant overextension is actually turned into an advantage here for the attacking team.
I'm completely shocked he did not die there. That was insane. Way in the back line.
Kichi is going to pick off 2 kills, but the Reinhardt is down on the side of the defending team. Gravitic Flux coming out to try to equalize as Kichi comes over the top. Hardline whittled low, and Hairball goes down. So an opportunity here for the defense to bounce right back into this thing. In fact, Wheezy and Kichi both coming up with a pair of kills, and it does look like Branwen will plant their feet and send Guardians back to spawn.
That was well needed there. They were very close to getting snowballed all the way through that second point, and that would have been close to an insurmountable time bank at that point, assuming the momentum can be maintained. But possibly a little too much greed coming out from the Guardians there. Hairball took a very aggressive frontline position with the Widow, too. Allowed Grimmy to get the pick on that. Ooh, that's a big grab.
Yeah, but countered by a Sound Barrier as well as a Blizzard on the other side. Bob thrown into the mix as well, and the defense will survive the onslaught of ultimates coming out. Hardline Shard has thrown his ultimate into that as well. So no more Earthshatter, no more Graviton Surge, and you can't help but wonder, why are you double stacking your tank ults? I feel like the ult rotation needs to be a little bit stronger here out of Guardians on this offense.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see certain scenarios. A Diva and Orion, those are 2 great tank ults to stack together, but Shatter Grav, not as much value, especially when you consider the double shield that they're playing against.
Now it is going to be Branwen getting hyper aggressive here as they're pushing in with an Earthshatter in their pocket. Sound Barrier comes out, but immediately followed by said Earthshatter. That found 3, but Hardline able to stay on his feet as he just barely jumped up onto the lip there, onto the flower base. Nevertheless, despite his ability to shield through his team, we are going to get the Flux coming out the other way. Nano Boost going down onto MyKill. And that's going to be 3 kills coming through here for the defense. Uviel able to find 1, but it's going to be a reset coming through from this attacking team.
Yeah, Branwen, they finally hit their stride. Grimmy seems to be waking up on that Ashe a little bit. The May walls have gotten consistently better as this map has progressed. And just overall, a lot more synergy. I'm beginning to think my original hunch might have been accurate, that this might have just been nerfs, because this is looking more like the even match that I was expecting this to be.
Now we're going to get yet another Blizzard coming out, trying to find the team, but I think MyKill did Guardians a favor there with the charge and pushed 2 of them out of Blizzard before they were able to get followed up on. Hairball picks up a kill, but they trade out for the Soldier. Bob coming out once again, but he is quickly sent back to spawn. Sorry, poor Butler. Now the Earthshatter coming up, and that found nothing but the shield of MyKill. Sound barrier there, but Graviton Surge in response. Death Blossom thrown into the mix as well, and the plethora of ultimates will get Guardians a lot of room to work as they're going to get aggressive here on the back of point B.
I really feel for Wheezy there. I mean, hit a really great boop onto Hairball to knock away most of that Death Ball's damage, but ultimately the damage, so to speak, had already been done.
Yes, indeed. And in fact, 2 points on the board, more time on the clock as we get trades coming through on the back of this. Kind of a weird late engagement as Guardians trying to chase the members of Branwen all the way back, finding those exit picks. Oh, Maywall coming up to try to protect their escape, but MyKill got caught on the wrong side of the tracks. Fortunately, the Ana there with the heal made, able to keep him topped off, and this will be a little bit of a reset coming through from Guardians, just kind of regrouping back on the objective.
Yeah, just based on the spawn advantages and the way the spawns changed there, it was a pretty low risk to really take the fight to Branwen there. But ultimately, it doesn't pay off, you know.
Well, and now Branwen coming back in aggressive, used a Bob to throw in. Kichi and Bloweezy coming through with a pair of kills each. But Grimmy really opening that thing up strong. Good placement on the Bob and a nice opening kill of his own.
Yeah, that's well done from Branwen there. They took advantage of the added aggression that Guardians were trying to put on there. I still think it was a good idea, but ultimately Branwen they were up to the challenge and they answered it really well.
Grimmy opening things up here, finding a kill onto the counterpart Ashe. Nice stun onto Hardline and followed up with a charge. What an excellent combination there. Right, just that small window of opportunity, that 0.8 seconds where the Reinhardt was rocked and stunned. MyKill able to find the charge and delete Hardline from the battlefield, and that just made for easy pickings on the rest of the team.
Well, I mean, with these nerfs to CC and stuns, I mean, you really have to thread the needle on stuff like that. So, I mean, this is what I was expecting from Branwen. A little bit more polished, a little bit more together, and it's paying off for him big.
Gravitic Flux coming out from the defense. Nice bubble to keep the Reinhardt from taking damage. Sound barrier used on the side of Guardians as well. They are going to try to push in and get aggressive here, as we do have that Graviton Surge online and ready to go. But MyKill taking out Hairball early. Hardline doesn't last much at all either. The Bob was in the back wreaking havoc, and that forced Uviel out of the fight. And another good hold coming through with just 18 seconds on the clock left for Guardians.
Man, MyKill was, he might have been in a little bit of a rage just now. Eaton on the May actually used a May wall that blocked his shatter, and that must have sent some bloodlust into his brain because he went and swung that hammer and got a nice little double kill.
Now we are going to get a Bob coming out on the side of the attacking team. Just opening up some space here, and here comes a Graviton Surge. Sound barrier used on the other side. Can Guardians whittle through all of this shielding and find those kills? Hairball going in, trying to find some damage. He does take down Eaton. 80% towards that Death Blossom, and he gets charged. Dead and removed. Not able to build up any more towards that ultimately deadly... ultimate. Not to be redundant there. We do get Hardline going on over to the Wrecking Ball. Foregoing the Reinhardt here as he's forced to make his way back to the point and just try to... Oh, no! The Gravitic Flux used to force Guardians off the point. It would have picked up 3 kills anyway, but more importantly, it whittled down the overtime, and that's as far as Guardians are going to get.
You know, when Sigma first came out, you saw those C9 plays with the Sigma a lot more common, but you haven't seen them as much lately. So, you know, really big plays by Zenichi there to really set that up. And like you said, you know, ultimately he would have got the kills anyway, and that overtime would have taken down. But still, I mean, that's a great awareness, great use of the ults. Great timing too, because Austin was, I believe, at 80% to a sound barrier, so he wasn't quite there. Had nothing to really counter that. Combine that with the fact that he was antied and low health. I mean, it was a recipe for disaster at Guardians at that point.
Yeah, and big play to take Hairball out early, not allowing him to build up towards that Death Blossom. That could have been the difference maker. And Branwen shutting it down before it can even start.
Absolutely, yeah, that was good awareness from Branwen. I have to say they did a very good job of isolating the important targets in each fight and trying and doing their best to pick them out early. Ultimately, a few times, obviously, progress was still gained. Made it all the way almost to the end, but when it really mattered, the awareness was there, the prioritization of targets was there, and Branwen walk away with a win condition now.
As they take to attack, bringing us a little Reinhardt Sigma here on the side of the offense. Bringing us Mei and Ashe as well. What do you make of this attack composition? It's not a typical combo you see.
No, it's not, but if used correctly, that Maywall can function as a way to isolate an out-of-position tank or any other target. It can be used to cover ground. There's a lot of different uses for it.
Maywall coming up early, separating Hardline from the rest of this team, but the Mercy there to keep him healed. And that's another interesting distinction. We got the Mercy BAP on the side of the defense. They throw an early Immortality field out to help protect their front line here as they're looking to keep Branwen in check around this first corner.
Yeah, the support line is the really only difference in this lineup right now. You've got a BAP Mercy versus a Lucio Ana.
Grimmy taking a flank angle here, but the rest of his team has already been disposed of, so I think he's going to want to back up here and get a little bit of a reset here from the attacking team.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more I'm looking at it, I really feel that this defensive pick from Guardians could be more as just a scenario trying to mirror what they believed the DPS was going to come out as, which, if that's the case, then they were right. But it seems like the synergy of the, at least the tanks and the DPS together, there is some synergy there, and that could be another, contributing factor to it.
Well, now we've got Branwen pathing up to the high ground, just sitting up at Griffin, trying to find some opening picks here with Grimmy on this long-range hero, but it's a typical space, winning the duel between the ladies. And an early advantage here for the defensive team. Now, what are you doing here, Branwen? I think they're just waiting for a little bit of a soft reset here, as they're just kind of slowly backing up to statue. But
that's very risky. I mean, they're diminishing their resources, and all the while, I mean, look, in the time that they've been soft resetting, three ultimates have come online, with the remaining two not far behind. So, I mean, they're staring 6 ults in the face, and really, I mean, they're about to have 5, but the ult advantage is in the hands of Guardians. I would expect some big ults this fight. I expect Bob to possibly come out, maybe combine Bob with Heelhoo's amplification matrix. That could provide some really big value. And still, this reset, for being a soft reset, has taken an inordinate amount of time.
Yeah, Hairball able to find a late kill onto Eaton there on the Mei. But now we have got Branwen coming back in, throwing up. Oh, I think they were trying to catch Hardline and that the Maywall just a little too close. Now the Earthshatter Blizzard combo coming through on the side of the offense. We do have a counter Blizzard as well as a Sound Barrier on the side of the defense. Will it be enough? Kills traded out on both sides. Rez comes through onto the Baptiste, and I think Guardians haven't managed to hold on, although they do have to still deal with this Bob on point. A dying wish coming out of Grimmy in a typical space. Happy to take the mantle of the only Ashe on the field, finding 2 kills and allowing Guardians to hold tight with just 60 seconds on the clock.
Well, that for more than just the fact that the fight was won by Guardians, that was a big win for Guardians because they maintain control of the point. They don't give any progress, and they only sacrifice 3 ults on it. They've still got their Gravitic Flux coming in, great for stalling at the end of this map. They've still got an amplification matrix. Combine that with the fact that you've got an Ashe and a Mei that can really pump some DPS into that, along with the BAP himself. I mean, this is dire for Branwen.
They've swapped over to the Sombra Doomfist here to try to get that pick potential in the end. Michael finds himself one, and Eaton able to finish off Hairball on the May. Gravitic Flux now coming out here, and that's going to do quite a bit of damage as there's 3 members of the attacking team caught in that. Earthshatter thrown out the other way, trying to deny value out of the amplification matrix coming out from Heals Who, and it is a all-out slugfest here on the point, but it does look like the Chaos is favoring Branwen on this attacking team, and especially with Eaton on that Doomfist, he is going to thrive in the Chaos, and indeed they will get this first point picked up and get that car out of the garage.
That they literally had to do it at that point, and they really had all odds against them. So, I mean, big plays coming out from Branwen. They were down in ults. They've evened the playing field. Possibly, no, I'd say they're even taking advantage, especially considering they've got that EMP online soon. You combine that EMP with possibly the Gravitic Flux, and that could be some insane damage done, especially considering there's no DPS ultimate, or no defensive ultimate on the field for Guardians right now. I mean, I guess you could consider Valkyrie a defensive ult, but
not
it's
really. Yeah,
it's weak. It's weak compared to a Sound Barrier or a Transcendence. Wow.
Typical Space able to pick off Eaton mid-punch. You see him come flying in with a fist and then just goes face first into the wall. His hardline just kind of looked at him like, well, what was that? I think he was fully braced for that punch, and then it was just the ragdoll body of Eaton flying past him. That was a fantastic move. Now the EMP coming out on the other side. Typical Space throwing Bob into the mix here to try to help stabilize. Soundbayer there on the attacking team as the res is going to come through onto hardline, who had got taken down in a little bit of an over-aggression. But that enabling the shield to get back into battle. Eaton, though, trying to counterpunch back quite literally. Takes out 2, using his Meteor Strike in the process. 2 men down. It does look like Branwen are going to continue this pursuit. But Blizzard used in response to the Flux coming out from the attacking team. The Immortality Field there. The one thing that they have in the pocket here for Guardians to help defend against that ultimate. Now, Banana Boost coming on to Kichi here as he tries to push forward, and Eaton returns to the battle with a vengeance, finding 2 kills. They do get the res off onto hardline once again, and Eaton will fall. Kichi goes down. Woo, what a sweaty fight, and Guardians able to take out in the end. 35 seconds on the clock and no ultimates online here for the attacking team.
That was a long, drawn-out ordeal, and ultimately, I gotta question the EMP there. I mean, the 2 picks had already come in for Guardians. You throw that EMP without the numbers you really need to provide the DPS into it. You don't combine it with the Gravitic Flux. You don't really seem to have a plan with the EMP. It was just kind of thrown out there, and I think if that EMP placement had been a little bit better, we wouldn't be in this same spot of the map right now with 5 seconds remaining.
A lot of damage coming in on the hardline here on this front. Wall coming up, separating the front from the back. Yet another EMP comes out, but it only finds the Mercy. Gravitic Flux used. That's a huge Gravitic Flux. 3 kills fall under the weight of the gravity. What goes up must come down, and it is Branwen going down here. And a pile of flames, and Guardians with a 2-0 lead going into the half.
Comes back to ults, I think. I think that Branwen were in a really good position. You know, once they got this point going, they were in a really good. They had a good chance to really get through that second stint and you know have a shot to win this map. But the ultimates, I mean, I think Grimmy did a great job. Got EMPs relatively quickly, not the quickest, but I mean, you can't fault that. It was just seemingly the timing and the coordination between these ults. You need to be a little bit tighter.
And it wasn't like there wasn't any follow-up to it, but indeed, it didn't seem just quite cohesive enough to execute and to find the final blows that they needed to keep that cart pushing. And in the end, Guardians take the map. Well, we're going to go to a little break here at halftime. We will see you back here on Volskaya Industries. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, my friends. We're here at halftime of the Console Overwatch Multi-Tier Tournament. This Tier 3 matchup between Guardians and Branwen. Well, Guardians with a 2-0 lead. And Branwen find themselves in a hole and looking to have to force the reverse sweep if they want to maintain their edge there on the Tier 3 ladder. Zoc, what did we see there on Blizzard World? What do you think gave Guardians the edge and able to take this lead?
Honestly, I thought both teams' defenses looked very good. I thought Branwen did an amazing job with their defense. Yeah, they obviously let it go farther than Guardians did, but I think that's because the real difference was the attack from both teams. I mean, you can, I kind of have to attribute it to the supports, to be honest with you. On Guardians' attack, running that Lucio Brig, they executed perfectly. They used the Maywall to edit the map, to create more cover, which allowed them to get to point without taking too much poke damage. Combine that with Lucio's mobility to get there fast. You're not taking any damage until Brig has the opportunity to proc her Inspire passive, and because of that, I mean, healing was there in spades by the time Guardians was taking damage. And so, that's exactly how that comp has to be played. And they did it perfectly, which allowed them to, massive time bank going into the escort portion of the match. And then from there, I mean, that's the difference, because you see on Bronwyn's attack, they clutched it out at the last minute, and already they're fighting the clock right then and there. Yes, this Guardians had this big old time bank, and they just, they were having to work with the scraps. And I think there's flashes of brilliance there for Branwen. Don't get me wrong. I definitely think we could still very easily see a map 5 coming out here. Guardians cannot rest on their laurels because, like I said, flashes of brilliance coming out from Branwen. I think the pieces are there. If they manage to put it all together on this next map, then we could be really looking at a barn burner of a match.
Yes, sir. Maximizing those cooldowns is going to be the difference maker, especially in the neutral here between such two tightly seeded teams. Speaking of supports, it sounded like we had a substitution coming in on the support role. Is that correct?
Absolutely. We did have Apex Aphrodite coming back in for Wheezy for Branwen. We also have Future Snow making their first appearance for Guardians. I believe on the DPS role. They came in on the DPS role. Little bit of insider information. I've heard of a hardline chart Future Snow tank line. It doesn't look like we'll be seeing that, at least for the moment. Obviously, Uvial, the off-tank player that's been playing all day, still in the lineup. But I've heard rumors, I've heard rumblings, as it were, of Hardline Chart and Future Snow as a tank line. So if and when we get to see that, something to look out for.
Well, we are going to get Guardians starting us off on the defense here as we head to Mother Russia. We did get the side
One of my
swap.
favorite maps, honestly.
I'd have to agree. I think universally considered the best assault map, but one of my favorite maps just in general. I'm not as big a hater on the assault game type as I think a lot of people are.
I think this is honestly one of the most fun of the assault maps. I don't feel the same problems that I feel with Draw Anubis and Draw Amura.
Fair enough. Branwen taken to the assault and taken to the skies as they're bringing out the pharmacy with Grimmy on the Ash here for a little long-distance poke. But they're going to have to deal with Guardians sitting up on the high ground here, bringing us the Reinhardt-Winston tank lineup. Gotta love that Winston as an off-tank. Interesting choice, but I think it can be so effective.
It is unorthodox, but it does have its value. You can use the Winston bubble to supplement the Reinhardt shield and allow for more free swings from your Reinhardt, which that's music to Hardline Shard's ears, I'll tell you, as he takes a nap.
Well, Branwen push right up the gut and go right into the kill box for Guardians, but it is indeed Branwen who take the early advantage. Now, Guardians do strike back, but the res comes through onto my kill. And it does look like it's going to be a very quick point A coming through here for Branwen.
Yeah, that was, that was surprising. I thought the Pharah was a big gamble considering how quickly it was shut down on Ilios. But Hairball just not finding the same level of value on the McCree as he did on the Widow on map 1. And Eaton got a lot of value. Grimmy looked good. And overall, this is exactly what I was talking about. I think, like I said, flashes of brilliance. And I really think Branwen can put it all together and pull themselves back into this map.
Now going on to the attack. No ultimates online to speak of. It's still a bit of snowball potential as they are close to both DPS ult as well as an Earth Shatter.
Yeah, they'll have to get those ults mid-fight and utilize them on the fly, which can be difficult setting up that synergy, but it can also pay off. But I mean, that take was so fast, how could either side have any ults?
Well, now they're going shield to shield. Nice sleep dart onto MyKill. The charge misses, though. Hardline not quite able to follow up, and then he puts himself in oh so dangerous a position. Bob able to run through and smack him in the dome. And they get the kill just with the impact there. Now we're getting a sleep back onto MyKill on the other side. Hardline does get revived. But a good anti on the heels, too. And Guardians look a little bit disheveled, but nevertheless, they're coming through with the picks. Hardline able to pick off the Sigma. Future Snow making his impact known in this match as he got subbed in and finds himself a kill as well. Now it's just a lone Grimmy left on point.
Right now, I have to... MyKill is standing out to me, and not in a good way. I'm struggling to find if he's had almost any value on his shatters so far. Now, granted, that's a tough task for anyone. You're running against Orion Sigma. There's a lot of shield potential there. But, so far this series, the shatters have been kind of lacking on the side of Branwen, whereas Hardline Chart finding a pretty strong amount of value. And, at the moment, he is playing against the Ryan Sig as well. So it's equally difficult for both Ryans to land that. But I think Hardline Chart, I have to give him a bit of the advantage at the moment.
Grimmy trying to pick off the Ashe in the backline. Here comes yet another bomb. Grimmy building those up so quickly. Now the Gravitic Flux to use. Here comes the shadow from Hardline as he falls from the sky. Doesn't quite get what he's looking for. And despite the anti coming in, the barrage finds two. Nietzsche picking up a pair of kills off the back of that Flux. And it does look like Branwen are going to get a very quick point B here. No touch coming through, and with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in the clock, 2 points on the board here for Branwen.
Wow. Night and day. Night and day from maps 1 and 2 to map 3. Massive props to Branwen. They definitely, whoever gave the halftime pep talk, go ahead and bump up their salary a little bit, because that provided a lot of value. It must have, because, this is a night and day team we're seeing come out. Eaton getting a ton of value on the Pharah, right in the face of a McCree, and still getting a ton of value. Grimmy, good ball placement this map. Not the same woes we were seeing earlier in the series. So it's like I said, if the pieces could all come together for Branwen, then they could get back in this, and they've set themselves up to do just that. I'm interested to see Eaton swapping over to the Junkrat. Maybe I'm biased just because I've played in with my Guardians Tier 2 team with Twinkie for so long, but I love a Junkrat here on Volskaya. I think there's a ton of value to be given, whether it's on defense or attack. And Eaton already demonstrating the projectile. What's that?
It looked like there was a call for a pause.
Uh-oh. Get our pause? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. French. Pardon my French.
All right.
That was, I think that was a minute ago, too. No, it wasn't. Oh, my God.
We're going to take a quick break here, get our teams ironed out. I'm guessing there's some sort of communication issue, perhaps a party crash or something on the other side. But we'll be right back with Guardians attack phase here in just a few moments. All right, welcome back, my friends. As anticipated, there was a little bit of a communication issue there with one of our teams, and in fact, it was for Branwen, and nevertheless, they managed to come in and put up a lightning-fast assault here on Volskaya, taken to the defense now, hoping they can get a map point on the board as they're going to come in with the Junkrat Ash on the side of the defense. Guardians coming in with a little bit of Reaper McCree. Looks like they're just going to path low. Coming in underneath the high ground stance put up here by Branwen. Nice sleep onto Hairball. Anti onto him as well. Oh, the follow-up charge, counter charge. What a big save coming from Hardline Chart, able to save his McCree, and then followed up with 2 big kills onto the opposition tanks. What a huge play coming out of Hardline Chart on this Reinhardt. They do get the res onto my kill, but Aphrodite pays for that with her life, and it will be a lightning-fast point A put up here by Guardians.
Hardline Chart demonstrated exactly why I discuss Volskaya being one of my favorite assault maps. It's because it favors an aggressive and strong Reinhardt player. And, you know, you have to think of yourself that way if you're playing the main tank position. You got to be the alpha, and Hardline Chart living up to it there.
I couldn't agree more, as now they are going shield to shield right here on the objective, wasting 0 time putting the pressure down. Hairball finding the opening pick here on point B, but Hardline pays for his aggression. They're going to try to get that res in. There was a nice immortality field to keep the Mercy alive, and an even better bubble to help her survive the charge coming out from my kill on the other side. And now, Hairball coming up with his second and third kills of this assault. 2 DPS ults online as they're looking to put up a wicked fast time here on point B. The Deadeye used to take the Doomfist out of the match, but they do still have that Blizzard in their pocket. Somehow, Nasty survives with just a speck of health. The Blizzard does come out. That's going to freeze up Hammond, and the Ana does eventually drop. Junkrat goes down, and it is up to Branwen here to come up and put a retake on the board. They are going to use Valk to try to get my kill back into this battle. We had an Earth Shatter coming out, and I didn't really see if that one got anything. Don't think it got what they were quite looking for. Immortality field there as the pin coming back through on the other side. We do have Eaton on the Genji. He took a nano boost trying to help build up towards one of those blades, but no such luck. Though it does look like the Lysos return, and Branwen, was doing a good job of stalling there to the very end, but it will be Guardians picking up that point. Both teams with a little bit of time reduction, as Branwen's time will reduce down to 2 minutes, putting Guardians at 3:06 as we head into extra innings.
Yeah, that was the definition of a snowball. I mean, you know, 2 ticks of progress was already acquired before really any ults online were online for either side. But Branwen, I mean, the stall was definitely there. Phenomenal stall. Nasty on the Ana hits a big ante that allows for some picks to come through. The nano was a good idea. It was just untimely due to a really nice grab from Uvial Author. And ultimately, I mean, it was just a great slugfest, and Guardians just kind of happened to come out a little bit on top on the attack. And I think a lot of that is just, you know, Hardline Chart just came out guns blazing on both points, and shoo, you don't want to get in front of an angry Reinhardt, I'll tell you.
Yeah, big plays coming from Hairball on the McCree as well.
Very true, yes. But, another Hardline Chart thing I noticed, that rip tire that came out from Eaton, he was up in that upper room above the Mega Health Pack on point B. That tire had all the makings to be a huge rip tire, and Hardline Chart just shut it down with a well-timed fire strike.
And that is one of the best feelings as a Reinhardt.
So true.
When you're able to pick one of those rip tires out of the air. Now we are getting the pharmacy coming back out here from Eaton, with Grimmy going over to the Ash. As Branwen making their second assault, making their second push in here. So far, just kind of poking and prodding from the outside. Guardians keeping them in check in the meantime.
It's a bit of posturing, I like to say. Both the Ryans just kind of squaring up and looking at each other.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. So far, neither team finding kills here in the opening seconds of our extra inning. Already about 40 seconds eating off the clock, as a matter of fact. Grimmy there to make a liar out of me. Finds that first kill on Heels too, and that's an important one. In fact, they are going to try to get that res. They do indeed get the res as the pin is just ever so slightly off. No vacuum effect there for that charge. Hairball, Uvial both picking up a kill. Eaton does take out Hairball in the end, but this will be a good hold thing to start things off here for Guardians.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a misstep coming out from Branwen. They get that huge early pick onto Heels 2 on that Baptiste. You've got to close that space and make them pay and punish when you get that pick. Because of the lack of punish, Austin Trox able to get the res off. Now you're looking at double support ults coming on for the Guardians. There is that barrage on the opposite end for Eaton. Watch for that. That could be a big game changer and allow Branwen to crack this point A open.
Oh, Uvial taking him out before he gets a chance to press Y. We did get the Matrix coming out on the side of the defense. Earthshatter to try to devalue that, but a counter shatter coming through. Now the Gravitic Flux Nano Boost combo coming down from Branwen, but MyKill frozen stiff, not really able to find the value he's looking for, and as the seconds dwindle away, so do the hopes of Branwen of picking up any progress here at extra innings. Oh, nice play from Eaton, able to touch point at the last second, but I think it is going to be too little too late as the overtime wick starts to burn down. Now, we did get Grimmy coming in and finding himself a kill, able to delay that a little bit. Valk used a touch, but they cannot get the res off. Now we are going to get the Hammond coming in trying to stall out, but this will eventually be Guardians shutting them down here on the defense.
Yeah, it was just, I really feel like that was Uvial author, like that whole time. Like, all lighting up the kill feed. The Zarya got a ton of value. I mean, picking off the Pharah early in that fight with the barrage online, that hurts if you're Branwen, because that, I cast or cursed it, I really feel like, because that was the opportunity to break that point A open. And of course now, given the way CGL is formatted, the best Branwen can hope for is a draw on this map, which would unfortunately put the map away from them. They cannot win the series at this point any longer. The best they can hope for is a very close 2-1 showing, which of course, with, like I said earlier on, map differential can be a big factor. So obviously you've still got to try and get that map on. You're already going down behind a fellow 4-1 team at the moment, and if you can at least minimize the damage as far as map differential in that, then you've at least done something. You can take a small, albeit Pyrrhic victory. Excuse me, Pyrrhic. Yeah, you knew what I meant.
I knew what you meant. Well, and a +1 map differential is very different than a +4. Like, that is gonna. I mean, there was only one map separating these two teams coming into this series. So that could be the difference between Branwen making it into postseason or getting left behind once the 9 weeks are up here in the multi-tier tournament.
It's really got to be a goal of Branwen's at this point to make sure that -1 map differential behind Guardians only becomes a -2 at this point. They still have the opportunity to do that. They can draw here. They can win on Dorado. And, despite losing the series, they'll only drop in the map differential by 1 map.
Yes, sir.
So that's what you got to shoot for right now if you're Branwen. There's still plenty of fight left in this team, and I think they can do it.
Maywall coming out early is going to separate the DPS lineup from the rest of their team. They are able to find that pick, but res available here for Guardians as they look to push in, back at a full 6-man roster. Now you have Future Snow on the Doomfist, taken to the high ground here, trying to see what he could find. Okay, he's going to loop around back out to the outside. Meanwhile, Hairball sitting up in the windows with his sniper, trying to put damage down into those tanks and allow his front line to win that battle. Future Snow, MyKill trading out. Oh, and Aphrodite goes down. That is detrimental here, as there's not going to be any res here for MyKill. But defense striking back the DPS line, not to be outdone, finding themselves some picks. And they're going to send Guardians right back to spawn with just under 2 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, Grimmy and Eaton really looking good on this May McCree combo. Grimmy's been playing a lot of Ashe, but I'm liking the McCree play right now. It's very strong, and the May presence is 100% there. I mean, that was a phenomenal hold, and they've given him a chance here. They can get this draw.
Both support ults online here for the defending team, close to a blizzard. Not much to speak of on the side of the attack. As Guardians going over to a Reaper Pharmacy combo here. We do get the M-Matrix coming out early, but a Hamwelll there to devalue that. Also, that Immortality Field used, which means it's not there for this big Gravitic Flux coming through. Now, we do get the Nano Boost on Tichi as well, just to try to put that much more damage down. UV will whittle down super low. Future Snow cannot survive. And this defense looking super strong. They're going to try to get the res. The res does come through, but Hardline suffers in the process as that healing, extra healing, that is, was not available. And once again, the defense from Branwen just sending Guardians packing here with authority.
Absolutely, and this the support line, the Ana Mercy is just doing exactly what it needs to do. Ana's providing that utility, using the kit expertly, and then Apex Aphrodite doing an excellent job, hitting these reses, keeping the team topped off, and it's you just got to give props to supports there, because a lot of times supports are going to provide that sustain to allow you to win those long fights like they did.
Blizzard coming out early. If Branwen can win this fight decisively and not allow the Grav Barrage combo to come out, they might be able to do it, and they've indeed taken out Hillsu and Hardline Chart. 12 seconds on the clock. This is looking like a very drawable fight here for Branwen. Earthshatter comes out, but it only hit Bubbles and Shields. But still a two-man advantage. Here comes the Barrage Graviton Surge combo. It's going to find two, but Future Snow goes down. Res comes through. No, they deny the res. They deny the res. Guardians, they will emerge victorious with the very last second. Here comes the tick. There goes the map. And a 3-0 lead here for Guardians in tonight's series.
That was so close for OFA Branwen. They did a very good job shutting down that fight early, but at the end of the day, the win condition was always still in place. You still had UV Author alive with the Grav, and you always had Future Snow, I believe that was Future Snow, with the Far-Out Hole. And so, I mean, that win condition stayed intact throughout that last fight, and ultimately that was the reason they won.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was looking so promising for Branwen there, too. They found two early picks. And they were doing exactly what I hoped they would, being very aggressive, being very decisive, wonderful focus fire coming through. The Hamwelll there to help split off the attacking team. But in the end, the Barrage Graviton Surge combo was just too much for them to handle. And it is going to be a 3-0 win as we head into Dorado here for our map 4 to round out tonight's match. Well, despite the 3-0 scoreline here, this has definitely been an exciting one.
Yeah, it really has. Absolutely, it's been just millimeters and
Yes, sir.
milliseconds basically the difference. It's wild, yeah.
We are headed to Mexico here for our 4th map. Chasing those map points as can't be reiterated enough just how much that's going to play a factor here going into the postseason. What are your thoughts on Dorado here, Zach?
Dorado it's always weird for me. I've never the map. There's just such. It's kind of like a Route 66. There's such a dichotomy of each of the segments, or trichotomy, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Between the three segments, there's such difference, and that's kind of prevalent in a lot of escort maps, but I really want to see some teams, utilize that, change up comps, change up styles, to fit stuff like that a little bit more. That would be something very cool to see. I think that's how the map design was supposed to create that sort of setup. So I mean, I would love to see a little bit more of that. But
it can be tough. You've got to choose a composition where you can carry those ults across. You don't want to be making full team swaps or anything between point A and point B, because you risk putting yourself at such an ult deficit that even the comp swaps won't be enough to gain the ground needed as you try to progress through. But with that said, I do love the variety, and I could definitely see running something more mobile through point A and point B, and then swapping to more of a brawly comp going inside the power plant. But we'll see what these two teams choose to come out with. I'm expecting
we do have some subs coming out. Sorry, yes.
I was just going to say I'm expecting some Ryan Diva. What subs do we got coming in?
We have some adjustments to the tank lineup for Guardians. Hardline Chart is coming out. He's actually being subbed out for Atypical Space. However, Atypical Space will be going over to the DPS role, which we saw them on earlier in the series. Future Snow will be going to tank with UVL Author, which I thought Snow and Chart was the surprise tank line, but this is something entirely different. We also have Squanchy Sauce coming in for who is that for? For Zenichi. Yes, so we will have Squanchy Sauce coming in on the tank. Let me check lineups.
Tank changes on both teams.
Yes, indeed.
I'm a little surprised to see this out of Guardians. You want to make sure and give it your all 4 maps, or risk sacrificing your playoff slot due to just a map loss. But you mentioned that they might have a little plan in store for us.
That is possible, yes, and it could be a sort of a baseball scenario where you bring in the closer, for the added stamina. You bring in the new tank player. Hard line you pitch a good game. All right, now go take you get one of those.
Yeah,
the man.
We've run a right-hander for this entire 8 innings, but we need that left-hander to come in and close it out.
Oh goodness! I started without swapping the map. I will have to fix that real quick.
Oh,
we're gonna replay Volskaya.
Don't worry, nobody at home saw it. It's not a big deal.
That's right. The power of production, making all mistakes vanish.
We did have a good host coming through from Katsuki. Thank you so much for the support, my friend. Really appreciate it. All the encouragement and the love coming through. I mean, it just means the world to us here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here today as we go into map 4. And we'll see the conclusion here of this Tier 3 matchup. In case you missed it, we did have a really good match earlier this evening. I highly recommend you go back, watch the VODs. You can go subscribe to my YouTube. I try to keep all of the matches I have cast throughout the season are available on that YouTube channel. So I try to get them up day of. Sometimes it takes me a couple days. You got to bear with me. But for the most part, try to keep a good archive of this entire tournament. You can go back and check out some of these fantastic matches. We've had 2 Mat 5s already this week, but we won't see one here today, as Guardians have the 3-0 lead here as we head to nighttime Mexico.
Yes, that's like I said, a lot of Mat 5s so far this season. You love to see it, but sadly we won't be seeing that today. Going to Dorado, 3-0 already firmly in hand for the Guardians. Branwen playing for Pride at this point, which ever important still, because those map points, they can really make a big difference. But it's so cool that we were able to have this resource, to go off on a tangent like you were talking about, Bull Skunk. I mean, it's so cool that that you provide this resource that allows teams to, go back and review their matches, look at what they did well, look at what an outsider's perspective watching the match thought was going well, because sometimes, you can, I've been there, you can have a different perspective while you're playing, and you can think, maybe something wasn't working, when in reality, from the outside looking in, it was working very well. It was something else that was actually the problem. So a great resource I think all teams should be utilizing and taking advantage of.
Guardians coming out on the attack here, going back over to the red jerseys, bringing us a little hamster. Future Snow making his tank debut on the Hammond. Oh, and immediately gets deleted. Austin Chalks tries to get the res, but it is a fool's errand, and he is sent back to spawn as well. And a beautiful rotation coming through from Branwen, able to catch that aggression and make a nice stance here to start things off on Dorado.
Well, they tried it. They tried with the Wrecking Ball. Future Snow will be going over to the Diva now, a little bit more traditional dive. I feel for it. I really love seeing a Wrecking Ball on Dorado, but it is easily countered at times.
Hairball caught out in the back, separated from his team. I think he should have just stayed hidden there, because it didn't look like the rest of the squad was ready to push. In the end, Eaton able to give his team a one-man advantage here. And typical space on this Widowmaker was sitting way off in the distance, and around this first corner, I'm curious how much value they're going to find out of that sniper hero. Now
Space is all the way behind, and here it comes.
Oh, as he does loop up and around, gets the first kill onto Grimmy, but Nasty answers right back, getting the final blow with a nice anti-nade. But that means the front line from Guardians able to push in. The tanks jumping down, find the kill onto Eden. Rez comes through into Grimmy, but he gets immediately deleted directly thereafter. No more DPS standing here on the side of Branwen, as they are just desperately trying to buy some time off the clock. You can see MyKill up there just holding point. Does find both supports! What a brilliant charge and a brilliant window that they might have to come back in and get this retake.
Yes, that was top-notch by MyKill. Oh, and then topping it off with the shatter on the Winston. Wow. Yeah, MyKill popping off right now.
Eden able to go ahead and get the kill on a typical space as well. And indeed, Branwen will put up a last-second hold here at Statue and buy just that much more time off the clock.
Yeah, that was an amazingly good defense coming out from Branwen. The chips were stacked against him. You're in a catch-22. If you react well to the Widow flanking behind you, then you open yourself up for the dive even more. They react quickly. They quickly dispatch a typical space who's now switched over to the soldier, and then they address the dive. So just excellent work. I mean, that was just phenomenally well played.
Space going over to the soldier now, coming off the Widowmaker. Both DPS ults and Graviton Surge online for the defense. In fact, both support ults online as well. EMP coming out from Guardians. Evil pushing in, trying to see if he can find the kill onto that Mercy. Mercy does go down, but here comes the barrage from up above. And that's going to find 2, plus another one once it's all said and done. 3 kills there for Eaton. Will that be enough for this defense to hold? It looks to be a 2v1 here on the objective. Really a 2v1 and a half. Nasty returning to the fight. Just in time to throw a nano boost onto the Zarya, who's going to try to stall this thing out for as long as possible and give time for the rest of the team to get back into battle. Rez comes through, and it looks like with a quickness, Branwen able to refortify here on the back of point A and find the kills with just 30 seconds left on the clock. What another fantastic retake coming through from Branwen.
Yeah, this dive is just not paying off for Guardians right now. Branwen, they've sniffed it out. They're running the Ryan Zarya. They're playing strong together. They're protecting their McCree, letting him get a ton of value as Guardians are diving in. Eaton on the Pharah, just lighting it up, and Branwen is doing exactly what they need to do. They're right there on a full hold potential. They've got equal ults.
Diva Bomb coming out. That does force the Reinhardt to turn around, but then he just swings right back around with an Earth Shatter. And nevertheless, 2 kills coming through on the defense. MyKill went down, but the res is there. And with a swift and decisive defense, they hold on. And Guardians get nothing here on Dorado.
Yeah, that was just a comp. That's just comp mismatch 101. Running the dive into the Ryan Zarya. When that comp that Branwen was running they were playing well together, and because of that, they just that dive finds very little wiggle room. Dive's a lot about isolating targets, finding the weak link, diving together, providing targeted burst fire in unison, and that's really hard when all of your prime targets are sitting comfortably behind a Ryan shield and ready to be bubbled by the Zarya, and that's props to Branwen because they executed perfectly, and as such, they're in prime position to go ahead and pick up a map in this series, which definitely a very important moral victory at this point, and a little bit of a pride boost leaving this match. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, Branwen doing a great job of just kind of staying within 10 meters of each other, peeling for their healers, and picking up the flank, just like they did initially on that Widowmaker.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and watch that play sometime soon, because that was very well handled. The Widow flank was well timed. He does get the pick onto the McCree, but the response was there. Quick turn to the Widow, quick kill, turns right back to the threat in front of them, which was the dive tanks pushing in, and they just handled it very well.
Now you got Guardians playing sneaky here, all of them hiding inside this tiny room. The Far going up looking for something, doesn't see anything, and I think immediately Branwen knew, wait a minute, we don't see any defense. They got to be hiding here as they turn their attention right into that room. Oh my goodness, MyKill just getting swarmed, but what an early Earthshatter. That was a 20-second Earthshatter, are you kidding me? Sauce comes through with the follow-through on that, and MyKill, holy cow, what a performance on this Reinhardt. Big props to Aphrodite and Nasty for being able to keep him alive through that. Man,
they sniffed out that strat very well. That is That's a strat that's often been toyed with because of the fact that if you die quickly on the defense, you can get back and challenge again before the point makes it to the first checkpoint. But ultimately, I mean, just sniffed out very quickly by Branwen. The strat doesn't pay off, and now they've got numbers and they're rolling. Guardians will get back in time to contest, but now their backs are up against the wall.
I think that's one of the fastest Earth Shatters I've ever seen. Oh, but Hairball on this second assault manages to find the dome on Eaton and clip the wings of the Pharah. They are going to get that res off as we go shield to shield here, right around the little shopping booths here. Kill comes through for both sides as they trade out DPS. Res available for Guardians here on the defense. So they got that Widowmaker back into the battle, and there's a primary source of healing missing here on the side of Branwen, and I think they need to reset here.
They definitely should reset. They've got time. They've got plenty of time in the bank still.
Or they could just barrage in a tiny room. I mean, that's an option, I suppose. That's going to pick up 2 kills. Sauce is going to find himself one as well. Here comes the Graviton Surge. There go 2 more kills. And wow, they said reset. Who needs a reset? We're just going to kill them all and take this thing home. That's a map win here for Branwen.
That was fantastic.
That was fantastic.
They fooled all of us. We're like, oh, yep, they're resetting, no big deal. Yep, smart play. And then all of a sudden, Eaton's just like, ah, surprise. Yeah, and I think I'm good. I'm glad we're going to get to see this from their POV again. I'm hoping. Nope, this is a different one, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is on their defense here.
Still a very good play, but
ridiculously good play.
I was not spectating Eaton at that time, and that was just that looked really good. But Eaton, 25 eliminations, 66% kill participation, really a star on this OFA Branwen team. Squanchy, coming in on map 4, getting a ton of value on this Zarya. So I mean, definitely a lot of bright spots in this team. 4-2 is still, there's still a little under half a season left. 4-2 is definitely still in playoff contention. I do believe we will see this OFA Branwen team, come CGL playoff time. I really do.
I'd have to agree with you. But in the end, the Guardians are able to take the dub here today. They will move to 5-1 on the season. And with just 3 weeks left, that does put them in a good spot for a postseason slot of their own. With that said, we got to choose a player of the match here, Zuck. And this is a tough one. This is really a tough one.
I don't know who to say just because I'm afraid if I don't say Hairball, he's going to come after me later.
I was kind of thinking the same thing. So that's it. We're going to go there. Hairball will be your player of the match, coming through with big plays, particularly on the McCree, and able to help his team edge out this victory.
Yeah, I do have to give, it has to be said, a strong honorable mention to the tank line for Guardians. Both Hardline Chart, UVO Author, Future Snow getting in on the mix there at the end, but specifically the Ryan Zarya of Hardline Chart and UVO Author was pretty dominant and pretty well showcased specifically on maps 2 and 3 with the Blizzard World and the Volskaya. I thought, just pretty dominant performance.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My kills performance on that Reinhardt also stood out to me. Like you said, could probably clean up some of those Earth Shatters, but in the neutral was doing a great job of leading his team, and that support line of Branwen was absolutely phenomenal as well. I mean, great showing all around from both teams here today. I mean, no one was really slouching by any means. But at the end of the day, Hairball, your player of the match. Guardians, your victors. And that will conclude tonight's broadcast. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here today in our Saturday night doubleheader. Zuck, thank you so much for joining me here for match number 2. Man, it was far more enjoyable than the solo cast I did in the previous matchup.
Man, you got to have a second to at least catch your breath. That's really what I provide. I just babble off some nonsense in between team fights and then give you a chance to catch your breath. That's all color commentary is. Don't let anybody tell you anything is more complex than that. As always, Will Skunk, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to cast with you, and just thank you for all you do for the console scene and for the CGL scene. We would not see a fair majority of these matches if it wasn't for your hard work. So from everyone within CGL, all the teams, I am on a team. I represent that as well. Thank you for everything you do, and thank you for letting me be a part of it. It's great to be here. It's great to watch some great Overwatch with great people.
You're gonna make a grown man blush here, man. It's
what I do.
It's a privilege and an honor to get to do it, and I'm very appreciative for all the teams that participate, all of you at home that hang out and show so much love and support. It just keeps the wind in our sails here. So, but that will conclude this broadcast. Thank you once again. I can't reiterate how much I appreciate all of you. And we will see you next time. Have a wonderful night. And as always, look out for each other in game and out.